Hey Mark, can I get a mic check on you real quick?
We love free bases. We love free bases. We love free bases.
Welcome back to the Press Box, everybody, for another new segment. Now I'm back from vacation.
Yeah.
We both had our nice break, so now we're back into the grind of.
This is going to get back to being a weekly thing again. You know, we're done having vacations for the time being, so everything should be good.
We're done having fun in our lives, so
Yeah.
we're back to serving the community now.
That's right.
Which would be fun. So, well, playoffs are done, Mark. High school baseball, lacrosse, tennis.
You picked the
Track.
wrong week to take off, my man.
I know I
what
didn't.
to tell you.
I picked the right week to take off. You guys picked the wrong week to let me have it off.
Well, it's been an eventful week, 10 days or so. I mean, it's kind of funny the way things shake out. I mean, we've got all these talented teams in the Mid-Coast, talking about baseball and softball right now currently, of course. And the way it all shakes out, exactly the way it shaked out last year. There's Oceanside softball and there's Searsport baseball back in the regional championships again.
The final two teams left standing once again. It always seems like it's almost that way every single year. But we'll give you a quick breakdown real quick. On the baseball side, Oceanside baseball almost got to the regional final, but they ran into Ellsworth, the number one seed from the B North region, lost 12-0 in 5 innings there. But
Ellsworth went on to lose to Brewer in the
Yes.
regional championship for baseball. So Brewer's on to the States for baseball as well.
And softball.
And softball,
I think they'll win in softball. They're playing the 6th seed of Greeley from the south, who kind of got hot at the right time, almost like the Giants a couple years ago. It's almost like 10, 12 years ago now for football, for the NFL when they beat the Patriots.
The Oceanside softball team, they had a great year. I'll chat a little bit about that because I was at that game. Zach, you went to Searsport baseball. First day back from vacation, by the way. That's a hell of a way to start.
Yeah, right.
So Oceanside softball, they fell 6-2, and it was a tough game to watch. I mean, it was the third time these two teams have met. I mean, Oceanside lost to Brewer 4-2 in the regular season, and then in 3-2 in 9 innings at the KVAC game. You were at that.
Yep.
So both those games were really close. So conventional wisdom would tell you this game's going to be close too, and uncharacteristically sloppy defensive game by the Mariners. 6 errors led to 6 unearned runs for Brewer, and you're not going to beat an undefeated team, top seed, playing in their home field like Brewer with a game like that.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because for like regional finals, they're played at the home of the higher seed, except for baseball, I think, when they go to neutral sites.
Correct. Yes.
But even the state championship is at Brewer, so Brewer will have home field advantage for the state championship against Greeley.
I'm pretty sure the MPA is going to look at that for next year. Like, this is what was a weird thing where this was Brewer's first year down in A, but it was in the middle of the MPA's 2-year classification cycle, and that's usually when they change that kind of stuff. So I think this year, the upcoming classification cycle, they will look at that, and they'll probably end up, shifting that around. Maybe wherever the A North teams play and the B North teams play, maybe they'll flip those. Speculation, I don't know. But it does seem kind of, I'll say it, unfair. I mean, they're supposed to be neutral sites, and there's Brewer softball hosting the regional championship game and then hosting the state final.
Yeah, if it's like you said, it doesn't seem fair just the way everything shook out, though. Because the MPA doesn't go in saying, "Oh, Brewer's going to win the softball state championship or be there this year, so we're just going to give it to them." It doesn't work like that.
I think they'll look at it. But let's talk about Searsport baseball. So what's interesting about this is you've got Searsport and Richmond in the regional final.
Again.
The same Final Four teams for Fairfield and Bangor Christian also in the. So last year it was Searsport and Bangor Christian. This year, the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's opposite. Richmond went out and scored 5 runs in the first inning on Searsport. They got to Charlie Spiegel really quick, and Searsport had a couple errors in that first inning that allowed Richmond to get to that point. Richmond's bats just came alive, though. Searsport and Richmond did not play during the regular season. Searsport had 1 loss. Richmond had 1 loss coming in. They were the 2 seed. Searsport was the 1 seed. They came in at, I think it was, came into the playoffs at 10-6.
10-6,
their final record was. And only 3 seniors on this club, but they're 3 big seniors in Ben Powell, Charlie Spiegel, and Connor Nealon, who all played critical roles for that team. And Searsport started to chip away. They got down to, I think Richmond's lead was 9-6 in the 6th inning. Searsport had runners on 2nd and 3rd, and Charlie Spiegel got called out on a 3rd strike, which seemed to go through the dirt and kind of caused a big uproar on that one Searsport half side of St. Joe's down there. And John Fry, the coach, was not happy with the home plate umpire.
Can't imagine he was.
Had some choice words for him about the whole whole situation about that, and it kind of killed Searsport's momentum because you're thinking, oh, here comes again. Searsport's going to come back in a pivotal game, just like they did last year against Bangor Christian to win the state title. And it just didn't happen. It's like that just killed their momentum. That one pitch.
It must have been strange. I mean, because I've seen Searsport baseball I've gone to St. Joe's and Standish a lot. always see them win the regional championship there, and then always see them win the state final there. And to see them come up short in a game like this seems kind of odd. But you're right. I mean, this was not a team led by a Barrett Grant or a Troy Reynolds or really seasoned kids. This was a pretty young team, and they were kind of playing out of their shoes all year long.
Yeah, they had a bunch of freshmen that played this year,
and it's good news for them. They're only losing 3 seniors, but a lot of those young kids are getting a lot of valuable experience in a place like St. Joe's, in a high pressure situations like that. So that's going to be good for Searsport going forward. Same with Oceanside. Oceanside softball, they're only losing Casey Pine.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty good next year.
Yeah, no, they're going to be right back there for sure.
An interesting stat that I was talking to John Fry after the game, Searsport coach, and he said that was their first loss at the field at St. Joe's. They were 9 or 10-0 before that loss, which is really interesting to go 2.5 hours south to a college field and never have lost a game. And that was their first loss since 2014 in the playoffs when they lost to Buckfield in the semifinals.
Up in Buckfield, yeah. And that makes sense that they haven't lost any games there because back when they went on their run in the in the aughts, like I think it was 06, 07, 08, they were in Class C then. Yep. So C doesn't play their games at St. Joe's; they play them someplace else. So it would make sense that would be but that's got to be strange for them the first time. Like I said, lots of 3 regional championships in a row, and 2 of the 3 state finals were all played there. So.
Yeah. Fry said he doesn't know what he's going to do with himself. He'll be there Saturday to cheer on Richmond because they're in their division against Fort Fairfield. But Fort Fairfield's got a heck of a journey all the way from northern Maine all the way down to southern Maine.
Yeah, they hug the Canadian border.
Yeah. Richmond gets to travel an hour, so we'll see how that impacts
They'll
them.
Probably win, and then they'll go celebrate with some poutine.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Really interesting. But now we're actually going to jump into a sport we don't normally talk a lot about, but some big news from the soccer world. Not just the World Cup started yesterday on Thursday with Russia beating Saudi Arabia in the first game 5-0.
What a game. Yeah. What a game.
And then you said today's it's Friday morning, so we're filming it now. Uruguay just beat Egypt in the 89th minute on a header, you said?
Correct.
You saw? So
correct. I mean, when a team like Uruguay, though, they're pretty heavily favored. If you have to beat them on a header, Egypt, in the 89th minute, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a head scratcher to me. I kind of thought that would have been more lopsided. I do know a little about soccer. Holly Venor Spicer is our resident soccer guru. Yeah. We'll have to try to get her in here and talk some World Cup soon. But Uruguay, England. I mean, there are a handful of really Brazil, obviously, not the United States.
Mexico's going to be
not
good.
The United States, who did not qualify. But we've got some news about the World Cup coming up.
I'm sure if you haven't heard already, North America will be hosting the 2026 World Cup, so Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. 60 games will be played in the United States, with the other 20 being split between Mexico and Canada. And obviously the U.S. has more venues to host more games.
Correct.
And all that fun stuff, so that's why they're doing that whole thing. Maybe one of the reasons, probably the main reason why North America got that bid is because the FIFA is projected to make $11 billion.
Wow, that's all?
That's it.
Just 11 bill?
Which will be a new record for FIFA. The current record for most profit for FIFA came back in 2014 with Brazil, which was a whopping only $2.6 billion.
Well, you know what's weird? You know what's kind of strange? And again, soccer's not our number one topic on most of these shows, but the one thing I will say is the United States falling short and not qualifying for this World Cup, and now looking ahead 8 years and knowing that we're going to be hosting that. And there also seems to be kind of a groundswell of soccer popularity that's starting again in the United States. I think all of those rivers are going to kind of converge, and I think this event in 2026 in the United States is going to be colossal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty big. You have the players now that are already good, and then now you have kids that are maybe 12, 13, or 14 years old that are really good at soccer, and give them 8 years to hone their craft when you're 20, 21, 22, and you could be playing on the world's biggest
stage. Plus,
there's
no pressure about worrying to have to qualify because they got automatic bid.
Automatic bid. Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. get automatic bids. I think it's Canada's first World Cup qualifier since 1984.
Congratulations,
something
Canada!
Like that. Yeah, right. But I mean, the U.S. has they haven't been exactly great in soccer.
No,
so,
definitely not.
First time I think it's in North America. First time since North America's hosted since '94. I think it's been. So it'd actually be Mexico's third time hosting a World Cup game. They hosted it back in the 70s and 80s, I think it was. I don't know. There's too many dates going around with this.
Well, we're definitely going to try to have Holly come on next week, and she really does not like to be in front of the camera.
No.
But if there's anybody that's going to be able to break down a lot of soccer on this sports team, it's going to be her.
Yeah.
No question.
And even though the U.S. isn't in the World Cup, watching World Cup soccer
No,
is
you're
such a treat.
absolutely
It's
right. Like it
amazing.
just started, so I haven't been like my wife and I watched a little bit of the Uruguay game this morning before I came to work, and we do enjoy watching it. We just don't always, our lives don't always cycle where we're in front of the TV
Yeah.
at 8 o'clock in the morning
It's
or wherever
true.
it is.
I mean, they're also in Russia, so it's a 12, 11, 10-hour time difference, so they're playing at different times and things like that. So they could be playing at 3 in the morning our time. We're never going to see that game because we'll be sleeping.
I'm just as likely to be watching the Red Sox play a game on the West Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched like an inning and a half of that, and then Jen, all of a sudden I hear Jen go, "You're snoring really loud."
It's time for bed.
Okay, let's go to bed.
Well, we're not going to go to bed, but we're going to sign off now that we've touched on the things we've wanted to touch on. So
And some things you didn't want to hear about, like my sleeping habits.
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Now we're all better for that, though, Mark. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Anyway, but yeah. Also, if you watched the opening with Mark's free bases thing, free bases mic check that we did, if you're not privy to that.
Were you rolling on that?
Oh yeah.
You're such a jerk.
The Brewer softball team, we both have experienced it with the KVA, when I was at the KVAC championship game 2 weeks ago, and when Mark was up at Brewer for the regional final game. Brewer has a chant. When they get a walk, they chant. What is it, Mark?
We love free bases. We love free. No, they're not reinventing the wheel by
Yeah.
doing that. I've heard lots of teams do it, but
it just gets stuck in your head.
it definitely does. And I'm all about chants. The Madomic softball team back in the day, the Kayla Vanna led Madomic softball team, they used to have unbelievable chants, and the energy coming out of their dugouts were just infectious and so fun. And whenever you get that kind of stuff, I just love it. I eat it up. Even though technically we're not rooting for teams, but if you're at a game and something like that's happening, you can kind of get into it. Like, I always enjoy that.
And at baseball games when they start yelling, hey, number 11, what are you gonna do? You start yelling at their own batters.
I like listening to the Oceanside baseball team. They're yelling SpongeBob SquarePants references at the other team, and I'm just like, I just watched that with my kids.
Yeah.
I know that episode they're talking about.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
weird.
Anyway, well, now that we got that off our chest, for Mark, I'm Zach. Thanks for joining us.
We love free bases.